I'm Chris Wills, Manager of Valuations at Flightglobal Ascend, and it's my pleasure to be able to speak to you about our helicopter values outlook for 2014. 2013 was a mixed year, with record deliveries surpassing 1,000 on the one hand, and lower sales, orders, and a continuation of the corporate sector performing poorly on the other. 2014 is set to be an interesting year, with the entry of new types into service, developing regional growth trends, greater operating lessor involvement, with more players financing and investing in helicopters. Heli Expo has already made 2014 a significant year for the civil helicopter market, with the announcement of new types and variants, as well as sizable orders. It's also interesting to see how the breakdown of these orders has shifted. Historically, we would have expected to see large orders for the medium and heavy types to be undertaken by the major global operators. However, this year we've seen that nearly all of the large orders were placed by the operating lessors. Ascend appraises all types of helicopters, although we focus mainly on the 10 to 19 seats large and medium helicopters. And I'm pleased to announce that we have just launched our helicopter values onto our online platform. And for more information, please see the link below. These patterns are aids to visualise Ascend's thoughts on the value performance of the larger size category helicopters over 2014. The two in production heavies, the Airbus helicopters EC225 and Sikorsky S92, continue to be the core of the deep water offshore support fleet. However, the issues faced by the EC225 over the past year have resulted in some uncertainty in the market. Ascend has not revised its long-term value forecast for the type, as we expect it to maintain its position alongside the S92 over the long term. In the short term, we do see a divergence in values at the new end. The recent orders placed at Heli Expo, along with the announcement for the new longer range derivative of the EC225, the EC225E, are already indications that the gap between types is not a long-term phenomenon. The entry into service of the Augusta-Westland 189 is eagerly awaited, with a positive response from the market. The Airbus helicopters EC175 is also due to enter service later in 2014, following its certification in February. Ascend will be monitoring how these two compete, but we would not expect to see any major value shifts for these types during 2014. It will probably not be well into 2016, after the Bell 525 has had some in-service experience, that the market develops its views on the super medium category, that we see any value trends emerging. We don't expect an immediate impact on the medium types from the super mediums entering service. In many cases, the longevity of the existing programs has already seen demand reducing. Demand for the Airbus helicopters AS365, EC155 and Bell 412EP has been low. While we expect the in-service fleet to remain in operation, the introduction of the super mediums will continue to shift demand for new aircraft away, and as such, the steady decline in values is likely to continue. The Augusta-Westland AW139 has benefited from relatively limited competition from the other medium types with much longer histories. Production rates remain high, pricing appears to be competitive, and orders are still being placed. Although for the older builds, and for the corporate examples, demand is notably lower. Overall, Ascend expects values for the 139 to remain relatively stable at their current levels during 2014. The Sikorsky S76 is split into 4 bands. The older A and B variants are in very limited demand. Values are already very low, and we don't expect any significant changes. The C and the C Plus variants are remaining in operation, with some drawing up demand from the C++, where conversions too are possible if the values permit. The C++ continues to be highly sought after. There is effectively no availability and strong values. How long this situation maintains for the C++ remains to be seen, but we would certainly expect to see this continuing in the first half of 2014. Demand for the new S76D has been relatively muted, but it is starting to pick up. And as the in-service fleet grows, its operational performance could well drive more orders. Speculation on an improvement to the type's capability is apparent, and we could potentially have a more definitive answer on if and or what Sikorsky is considering to do during the year. As the corporate market continues to suffer, values of types with large exposure to the sector, typically the smaller, light, twins and singles, remain soft. and in many cases with limited demand for new aircraft. The Augusta Westland 109 is a notable example. Although February saw the announcement of the latest variant in the family, the Trekker, orders were also limited. Even smaller types with a strong EMS and law enforcement presence, such as the EC135, have seen increased availability on the market and lowering values. Although Waypoint's order for the EC145T2s is a good sign. For the very light singles, it appears demand is and will continue to be good for the PAX utility aircraft. Bell's naming of the 505 Jet Ranger X, along with approaching 100 orders at Heli Expo, really indicates the demand for this segment. Last year, Ascend produced its first helicopter forecast, and it's been updated for 2014. The forecast to 2023 expects the in-service fleet to grow to over 28,000 turbine helicopters at around 3% per annum. This will see delivery of 11,615 helicopters over the next 10 years, worth an estimated $75 billion. Thank you for watching, and for more information please see our website.